It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. And as you notice, I've got something different up here. What do I have in common with kittens? Well, they like fish too. So I just figured I'd try something different. This is pretty cute and kind of relaxing to watch. This is the live kitten rescue cam. I think this is out in LA. Forgive me for not doing a local Florida one. I should have looked, but this one caught my attention, and these guys look pretty excited this morning. And incidentally, I'm always talking about buying local, but also, if you can, support your local rescue centers for cats and dogs, especially cute little kittens like this. Well, let's take a look at today's markets and see what's happening. And yeah, kitten rescue cam. I've been watching this for the last 20 minutes. These guys are entertaining as hell. Let's move into spot prices and see what's happening here. Gosh darn it, I'd rather talk about kittens today. Markets are kind of sideways from where they've been. It looks like the stock market futures is kind of a little bit sideways as well, and a little bit downward. We'll take a look in a moment after we look at gold, silver, and platinum prices here. Let's take a look at the overnight lows and highs here. 1784.19 is the low. I'm not quite sure when that was. We'll take a look at the 24-hour chart when we're done here. Currently 1798.45 is the high. I saw that a little while ago. I believe that was in London or New York. And we're currently sitting at 1796 in the New York COMEX market right now. Silver, same thing. It did breach that $23 mark. I guess none of us were really surprised. And I believe that's the psychological mark that the big commercial short positions were hoping that people would go, oh no, it's breaking 23, watch out below, it's done for. But we're I think most silver investors, most silver stackers, hodlers, whatever you want to call yourself, are pretty much over the bullshit. They're just kind of sitting back and saying, okay, knock it down, we'll buy some more, and we're just going to wait. Listen, the silver stackers and the hodlers and the investors in the physical silver out there can hold on a lot longer than, and it's been proven years and years, for decades now. That's a fact. They can hold on a lot longer than the commercial bank short positions can, or the people that are shorting the silver market and manipulating this market. So hodlers, investors, and stackers can hold on a way longer because, again, I've been a physical retail seller. I've been selling retail physical metals, wholesale physical metals since 1977. Started this place in 1995 on my own, worked my family business prior to that, and a few other places. And I have not, even since 2012, when we sold millions of dollars worth of silver and gold at the time here in our little store, we never seen the capitulation, especially from the large whales. People, for some reason, when they own silver, man, they're in it for the long term, and that's a fact, man. I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Most physical holders, especially in silver, are in it for the long term. So if commercial banks think that they're going to see capitulation by small-time physical holders, they got another thing coming. They'll die before that happens. So anyway, let's take a look at, again, the markets. 1798 the high, and currently sitting at 1796. Silver, 2280. It really, I don't know how much ammo they had. Looks like they tried to blast it well below that 23 mark. But so far, 2280 looks like it, and the high at 23. We're currently sitting at 2296. Again, there's a big tug of war going on out there in the COMEX markets during when COMEX is open. You'll see it in the 24-hour charts that we'll get to in a moment. And any of you who have been watching my video for the last couple months have already seen this chart over and over, and when it happens in the morning, and the volatility that we're seeing, especially in the COMEX markets in the morning. There is a tug of war. There's a war going on between the longs and the shorts. 944.55 with platinum right now. It looks like, wow, look at that low, 930.962 at 972.35. Platinum has gotten the shit kicked out of it. Again, great buying opportunity for platinum. Oddly enough, though, we sell so little of it, and so do the other precious metal retailers. There is not a big platoon of platinum stackers out there, and platinum hodlers and platinum investors. They're kind of a small group all on their own, a niche group, so to speak. But I think anyone that is a platinum hodler has got to be looking at these numbers, thinking it's, again, just a good opportunity to buy more. and they're going to see higher prices here ultimately. But here, this is kind of interesting. Remember the tell that I was talking about, where platinum was leading the way for gold and silver? It seemed like platinum knew where gold and silver was going. This scares me a little bit right here, folks. It scares me in the fact that we might see some lower prices in gold and silver here coming up. And then platinum might be telling us, all right? Again, a little tell that I noticed, I don't know, hasn't been holding true lately, but for a period of time, platinum, if platinum was in the red, that day or the next day, gold and silver would follow. Just a little trend that I noticed. And again, when you look at markets like I do, 5 days a week, every day for decades and decades, you start to spot these little trends. Even if you're not writing them down, you spot them. And this little trend, I hope, is not true because, well, not hope it's not true. It'll just provide, again, better prices to buy at. But it looks like platinum's down a little bit. If this is a tell, this is going to show that silver and gold may be down today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Again, platinum mostly being an industrial metal like palladium is. Let's take a look at the overnight markets for gold here, and I'm going to do a quick refresh and see what's going on. Let's take a look. And we got some cool things to talk about too. I want to talk about Bitcoin. I want to talk about the current stock market. I want to talk about how this new critter variant may affect gold and silver markets and will affect stock markets and you know, the hows and whys and stuff like this. And of course, we'll be talking a little bit of politics, a little bit of economics here as well. Again, it all ties into the price of gold and silver. So don't think it doesn't. Let's take a look at Kitco here, 24-hour spot price. I think I just did a refresh on that. And again, take a look at this, where the market activity occurs. Looks like more than likely in the London markets before New York open. Gold was kind of getting monkey hammered. Again, you know what? I'm not quite sure what time the London market opens. Let's take a look here. I showed you this website before. What time do gold markets open? Sorry about that. Should have had this done before for you, and don't mean to bore you with this. What time do gold markets open? And I think the global gold market. There it goes. I like this site. I'm going to bookmark this. I should bookmark it. Let's take a look, because what I'm curious right here, folks. You see this line right here where you've got a steady up in the evening, and then you've got this steady down. Let's find out what time that was exactly. This appears to be. Would it be London? If it's New York Globex markets, we know exactly what happened here. Crooked Globex, crooked COMEX markets. Okay, where is my global market trading times? All right, we know, let's look at GMT. It's a little hard for me to wrap my head around GMT times, but let's take a look at the London gold market and see. London opens at 8 GMT and closes at 1700 GMT. And let's take a look at, see what time. GMT time, and when did this market start getting monkey hammered? It looks around, it could be in the London markets, so it could very well be in the London markets. So it would be 8, what did it say? Give me 1 second here. Short-term memory, that's what happens when you get old, young folks. Opens at 8 GMT. Okay, there we go. Let me go back here. And where is 8 GMT? There's 8 GMT right there. So London markets apparently 5, 6, 7. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's GMT. GMT time is down below it. So it looks like the activity happened in the London market somehow. London would have opened 5, 6, right about here. Oh, there it is, right there. London would have opened right about here, so that would be correct. And some choppy action goes up in London, then drops back down. The only problem is does anyone know, can you put something in comments, any of you people that follow these markets as well and know what time, how do you differentiate, and again, if you got any idea, put it in the comment section, how do you differentiate whether this up market or this down market right here is in London or in the New York Globex markets? I really can't tell. They kind of overlap each other because the Globex market is a 23-hour a day market. It's run by COMEX. And I pretty much figured that any gold and silver, and I've been told this before, any gold and silver trades that are done in the New York Globex markets are usually manipulative, fraudulent, well, let's say fraudulent in my opinion, trades. So I'm kind of curious where these trades, especially when these big whacks happen, are they on the Globex market or are they on the London market? They don't differentiate it here on Kitco, and I really don't know how to tell. And I don't even know how they merge these markets together, you know. So anyways, let's move along from there and kind of take a look at where we're at right now. It looks like that the up in the gold market, again, New York, But I'm really surprised to see the volatility, the overnight volatility in gold is pretty amazing. It's usually been flatlined. So this is interesting here, folks. Not the typical pattern. And again, you know, I see patterns like that little kid sees dead people. So this is not the typical pattern that we've seen in overnight trading. So there's some crazy stuff going on here with gold and silver markets. And as you can see, the overall trend was upward until at this point right here, again, which appears to be the London market, or maybe the Globex market, where it gets monkey hammered down. New York opens up, it's back up again. Let's see if we see a similar pattern with silver. And I kind of don't think so. I believe that the monkey hammering in silver is still going on. And let's see, we know that in London, where's that big spike right there? Spike downward is, wow, that's right about, well, London opens right here if we're going to use that line right there. So that's shortly after London opens. Again, I can't really tell if that trade is in the London or Globex markets. Anyone out there that can help me understand that, please let me know. I'm curious myself. Write it in the comment section. But no less, take a look at the overnight chart. I believe that the pressure still is on silver. According to Ted Butler, the big commercial shorts are still looking at an $8 billion loss unless they can knock that silver price down lower. I believe 18 is the mark where they might break even. I've heard that from a few different places, but I can't confirm that. I haven't confirmed it. But it appears that the shorts are still in a position where they're still trying to bang this down because, again, they're sitting on an $8 billion loss if they don't, you know, if they can't reverse this down to the $18 mark. And or get someone to take their short position, which Ted Butler says is the managed money crowd who will take over some of those short positions, or who the commercial banks are hoping take over their losing short positions. They can't win this, but you can see the battle right here, folks. Look at the overnight markets here, down. Again, this is probably, I can't tell if this is Hong Kong or New York markets. I don't suspect this is Hong Kong markets. For some reason, I got a sneaking suspicion that this monkey hammering that we're seeing in gold overnights is happening in the Globex markets. Again, I sure wish I could find out a way to confirm that. If someone can show me, I'd be completely grateful. I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart and where we're going with Bitcoin. Give me 1 second here. I should put up the kitty cam when I'm doing that. Currently, look at that volatility. That is just insane, folks. This is not the volatility of any normal market. This is the volatility of a carnival ride. This is the volatility of something that is really not a standard. This is a casino, man. Take a look at this. This is what drives the price up and down, is how many players, you know. The more people that enter the casino, the higher it goes. The more people that leave the casino, the lower it goes. And all it takes with cryptos is just one of these big billionaires to kind of just dump their position entirely, or one of these huge corporations that's jumped into Bitcoin. And who is left holding the bag? Usually the small hodlers, of course. Again, this market, the only thing I don't like about this market, if it can go to zero. It can literally go to zero. And what do you have? You have nothing but a set of encrypted numbers. You know, the beauty of gold and silver is in 5,000 years, it's never, ever, nor will it ever, in our lifetimes at least, or beyond, go to zero, period. Wealth preservation. This is not wealth preservation. Take a look at this. This is just insane. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well. Let's take a look at the stock market and see what's going on here. No major hemorrhaging, down a little bit. I think it's just trying to figure out which way to go for many reasons. The critter, the new variety of critter that just came out, the O, whatever they call it, the ridiculous O critter, whatever it is, seems to have knocked markets down. But again, as I've said, it's an excuse. It's an excuse. The reason markets are going to get knocked down is because we're in the greatest bubble of all time. At some point, this bubble is going to explode, and it'll have nothing to do with the critter. It's not the critter's fault. In fact, I can tell you that the critter is pretty much, I don't care what variant it is so far, the critter is pretty much useless out there. Look at the state of Florida. And I'm going to get into that. Let's first, the state of Florida and Texas, love them or hate them, and I live in Florida, folks. We're doing wonderfully down there. I mean, it's like it never existed, but I'll get into that in a moment here. I'll talk more about that and give you some of my opinions on that and how that affects gold and silver markets. But we can see that the critter is or at least the excuse of the critter, is really kind of moved markets big on Friday, I think it was, and yesterday moved markets big, and as well today they're yesterday it kind of steadied out a little bit. Today we've got a little bit more hemorrhaging, but I don't think it looks good overall, folks. And here's something really interesting. Look at this page on Market Watch. Everything is in the red, but guess what? Gold is not. It's kind of interesting. Surprised oil took a hit as well. However, if they're talking about doing lockdowns and they're not actually, the United States I think made the wise choice, which really surprises me because there's not too many wise people that run this country. Speaking of wise people, there's not too many wise people that run this country, but they basically said that the current administration, that they are not going to shut things down. That's what they've said so far. We will see. And again, this is the cause of this is the excuse they're using why this market is currently going down in the stock market. And again, listen, the truth of the matter is they've never, first off, you've got central banks that have never fixed anything. And you know my opinion, I've said it over and over. And I'm going to say it again for you folks that have heard it a billion times. They haven't fixed a damn thing. The patient has been hemorrhaging since 2008. All they did is throw more Band-Aids and more plasma. Try to just stop the bleeding and throw more money at it. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's pretty much it. As far as governments go, they've done absolutely nothing but exacerbated the problem and made it worse. You don't spend money you don't have. You don't spend money that you don't plan on getting in. The tax base is much lower. Everything's much lower. The only reason you would purposely do that is because you're an idiot, or you don't understand economics, obviously, or your whole purpose is to make the entire world dependent upon you. And I would kind of tend to lean that way. Here's something funny I just noticed too. I noticed that. Take a look at this. I think this is Reuters right here. Look, Reuters doesn't even put the number 800, almost 1 million views, folks. And look at this. Look how many thumbs up. That's sad. Oh, it's a sad world. It's a sad world for sure. And again, I'm not a lefty. I'm not a righty. I'm the best of both worlds, to be quite frank with you. I'm the best of the left and I'm the best of the right when it comes to my beliefs and my opinions. And they don't even put a number on dislikes anymore. That's just really sad. And again, I can't. I don't blame them, because this number would probably be 34,000 dislikes or more, I would bet. But no less, let's talk about what is really going on here and the critter fears that we got going on, and take a look at, should I go into this or should I go into this? I'm not quite sure. I think right now I'm going to go into this since we're talking about it. One of the things I wanted to mention to you folks out there is I saw this and I thought this was pretty crazy. And again, basically, I don't know, I live in South Florida, and every time I turn on television, there are so many pharmaceutical ads. I mean, every ad is a pharmaceutical ad. I don't know where you live in South Florida, my local peeps, or if you live outside of Florida or in another country. I don't know about you, but we are getting bombarded with ads from drug companies and just nonstop. Almost every ad on television now, and we use Comcast down here, on cable television is an ad for a drug company. So I kind of went and looked. I said, well, here's the companies right here that are benefiting and profiting from the critter here. And let's take a look at what their stocks are doing and when, and the reason that they might kind of not mind this at all, in my opinion. I'm kind of be careful what I'm saying here, but take a look at the stock prices of, there we go, Pfizer. Now, let's see. I'm going to take a look. When did that whole deal start? Back when, folks? Let's see. Maximum. Let's just look at the maximum chart. Oh, look. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, I'm not going to look at the maximum chart. Let's look at the 5-year chart. That's probably a much better chart to look. There we go. 2002, 2019. And take a look at here. This is when these cures and stuff started coming out. Not cures, but anything but. Sorry about that. It's when they started releasing their product, Pfizer. And take a look at the Pfizer's current stock here. Prior to, where is it right there? There's the lows right there, 30.42. They're sitting at 50.89. So Pfizer's doing quite well, and they're one of the producers of the critter killer. or not the critter killer, but I don't even know what you would call it. It doesn't kill it, does it, per se? And let's take a look at another company. And, you got to wonder, sometimes there's an old saying is follow the money, is why are, and I'm going to get into this in a moment why I'm bringing this up. And let's look at GlaxoSmithKline. And again, take a look at their stock, and we'll do a 5-year chart. And let's see how they've done over the course of time here. Look, this is about the same time as you saw with Pfizer. This is shortly after. I'm not quite sure what the news is, but again, up quite a bit. That company's doing quite profitable, and I can imagine that they don't want to let this dog go. And could you blame them? Let's take a look at this company as well and see what they're doing right now, see how their financials look over the course of this whole deal. And let me take a look here and see how they're doing. Now, why do I ask this? And look, there's 2020, and then you've got a continual climb upward here. So, unfortunate, I don't know if it's unfortunate or not. I don't say unfortunate. This is the capitalism we live in. But do you believe that any of these companies right here really want this to go away? You know what I'm saying? And the amount of billions and billions and billions of dollars they spend on lobbyists, and the amount of money that have stock, the amount of legislators and big billionaires that own stock in these companies, do you really think they want it to go away? As a business, probably not. That is my opinion again. Not trying to say anything negative about any of these, but if you think about it from a logical standpoint, they really don't want it to go away. And they're going to. Neither does the news. Neither does corporate media. The problem with this is corporate media doesn't want it to go away because people love to watch bad news. They love tragedies. And this is probably one of the biggest tragedies of of our lifetime. Well, I won't say of our lifetime. One of the biggest created tragedies of our lifetime. And I want to tell you something. It's not necessarily as it appears. And again, Moderna came out today and saying that that it won't work for the new critter variant. And what happens here is the stock market kind of takes a little dump, and people are going to, the reason it wouldn't work too, not the reason it wouldn't work, but again, they are going to create another variant to kill this particular variant, and not kill it, but whatever it is they call it, it does, prevent it from being worse than it is, whatever the frick it's supposed to do. And they're going to come out with it. It's going to be good for their stock. Put it this way: this is just good for their stock. Increasing the fear, and the press increasing the fear is good for their viewership as well. So it appears that the people benefiting the most off this are dystopian, draconian government officials and politicians are profiting off this whole critter. Who else is profiting? And again, follow the money, folks. Who else is profiting from this critter? Corporate news is profiting from this critter. Prior to the critter, CNN was almost in the shitter. How do you like that, critter and shitter? And they're actually getting back down there a little bit too. But corporate news, whether it's red or blue, benefits hugely from the critter. And who else? Obviously, the companies here that we just discussed. These companies, they all benefit hugely from the fear, just the fear of the critter, not much less the critter itself. So, there's big money in this critter here, folks, and there's big reasons why they need to keep people in fear. But let me point out one thing that's happened in Florida with Florida's government, Florida's decisions is, I look around the world and I see people in other states, California, in the states up north, and I see people in the Midwest, and mostly the blue states. Sorry to say that, but it's true. Mostly the blue states that are still they're still closed down. They're still not operating at 100, not even at 50%. The mandates. They have lots of mandates that they have to follow, and really, their business is dead. The business is dead. The taxes they're taking in is gone. The quality of living is pretty much gone for shit. And Texas, I don't want to talk about Texas. Let me talk about Florida because I live here. I've been experienced. I've been watching it. Florida opened up everything a while back ago, a long time ago. And in fact, the mandates and everything weren't near as rough as most of the country had, even when we had them here in Florida. I pretty much ignored them entirely, to be honest with you. And again, that's my decision as a free individual to do that. But we're doing great here. Florida's economy is just fucking rocking it, man. I'm telling you. And I can't believe the amount of people moving out of the northern states, you know, from the more stricter states. They're moving down here, man. Every other plate is from those particular, and I don't want to talk about, well, for example, New York. I mean, we've always had New Yorkers move down here, but I mean, en masse now, man, and a lot of the other states as well. So Florida is kicking ass, and our rates are no worse. You know, our rates with the issues because of the critter are no worse than anywhere else. And again, this is about gold and silver, folks, because if I was looking around our community here in South Florida, you think, well, you know, the economy's doing great, everyone's doing great, but we are an exception here in Florida. I mean, a big exception, especially if you step outside the United States and look at the rest of the world with the draconian mandates and the issues that they're having. Wow, wow, wow. We are doing great here, but I suspect if I traveled a little bit, which I refuse to do until they remove some of these mandates for traveling, which if I traveled a little bit, I'd probably be more depressed. You know, and I'd probably even buy more gold and silver than I currently hold right now for myself personally, and I'm a big hodler myself. So why do I bring this stuff up is because fear, man. Fear drives the price of gold as well. Fear will drive the price. Fear will drive other markets down. Fear will drive people into particular markets they shouldn't be in, but fear generally is still good for the gold and silver markets, and this is why we're seeing metal markets doing as well as they are right now. And this is why we're seeing these companies do as well as they are right now. It's fear-driven, okay? And yeah, here, I'm going to move along from there. Let's take a look at ZH articles, and not too much in gold and silver to talk about. This is kind of interesting, but again, follow the money. And you know, I'm really surprised the deal they had in Wisconsin with that kid. Again, I don't want to bring up names specifically, but that had such a huge amount of publicity and trial. This Maxwell trial seems to be not as much on the news, so I'm kind of curious where this goes, and exactly my feeling is that they're going to give up nothing, and that Maxwell's not going to give up nothing, and she's made some kind of deal already to keep her mouth shut to some degree, but that's my conspiracy theory. Again, what does this have to do with gold and silver? Well, what's the word I'm looking for is credibility, because the problem we have right now is governments and our legal system has lost a lot of credibility over the last several years, and that is good for the price of gold and silver as well. So, and people are going to say, well, why do you talk about this? Why do you talk about economics and politics? Well, it plays a big role in the price of gold and silver over the long time. So things get worse. If fear gets more, if the fear gets higher, that's better for gold and silver overall. This is just sad right here, and that's sad as well. Well, let me, again, not too much to talk about in today's markets, and let's take a look and just see where they are currently. Okay. 1804, wow, that's a hell of a pop. And platinum's kind of recovered a little bit of that steam it lost here. Silver's up 29 cents, it's over that $23 mark. Very interesting, folks. And let's see, as I said, there seems to be a battle going on. Exactly where? In the COMEX market. Let's take a look. New York. So something big's going on here, folks. I can feel it. Something big's going to happen to precious metals markets, and I think it's going to be in a positive way here. So, hey, hold on tight when it does. You're going to wake up one morning, you're going to see markets considerably up higher. This is how this stuff works. Well, I don't know what else to talk about. I think I'm going to call it a day and go into our video from Pooped and Scooped. That is a real term. If someone watched the video, I noticed one of my viewers out there, comment down here, got a little offended by Pooped and Scooped. It's funny, he had an icon as a cat, so yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. But Pooped and Scooped is a real term that's used for people or entities that talk down a market or destroy the credibility of a market only to go back and scoop it up later. They poop on it, then they scoop it up. And that's a real term. So for the gentleman that was a little offended, I didn't make it up, man. I wasn't just trying to find clickbait, nasty terms. So let's take a look and see if there's any questions here I can answer from yesterday's video. And again, I'd like to thank everybody that you see here for their comments and for watching my videos. There he is, Mr. CR. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Titles such as "I'll be moving on." Oh well. And he's got a cat. Maybe it's something to do with the poop and scooping the cat. I don't know. Thanks for watching, Michael, and everyone else here. I'm going to see if I can focus on questions that are pertinent to what we're doing here. And again, thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting. And let's see here, just kind of look. I should have probably taken a look early and picked out a couple questions and answer them rather than force you to go through every one of these with me. And this gentleman, RD, says, glad silver went down. Hey, you know, that's a positive attitude to have, because ultimately it's going to keep going up. And I like that attitude, you know, make lemons from lemonade. And the lemonade is only going to be so long. All right, glad silver went down. Still hoping to see it touch 18.19, get another opportunity at buying stuff on sale. I think stuff is on sale right now, but let's see what happens. 18.19, $18, according to a lot of people, would sure get the commercial banks out of their short positions, and I don't think they would short the market again after that if they were able to drive it down 18. I don't know who would take over those short positions, but whoever did would be a complete idiot. And thanks for the comment. I appreciate that, Food Hoarder, and thanks for watching. And the clever kid figure out the deception of profit. Yeah, the clever kids always do. And let's see. Always remember, falling feels like flying until you hit the ground. I'm not quite sure what the comment refers to, but that's very true. I just thought about it. Falling would feel like flying until you hit the ground. Hey, Brian, gold and silver are both unique in that there are only two commodities getting tamped down. This is true. Hey, Joey, what's up? Can I go over why it's a good idea to buy into actively manipulated precious metals market as a long-term hold strategy? The only way to make it for, well, I think that, as I said in my videos yesterday, in my opinion, give me one second, let me read the rest of this. Short-term assets converted to precious and now become long-term hold. How do you consider long-term for precious metals? I consider in my opinion, I consider the best buyers, the best people out there that buy gold and silver, the long-term guys. Those are the guys that understand it the most. They're looking at its wealth preservation over time. They also know that gold and silver will never go bankrupt, and that it's a roller coaster ride to the moon. There's going to be some dips and valleys, some scary dips as well, but the overall destination when you get off the roller coaster is the moon. Okay, look at it that way and you'll do fine. As far as short-term and short-term traders and guys that do day trading in gold and silver, listen, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I still don't understand it, and that's, to me, is a casino, trying to figure it out on a daily basis. I would probably do better than most, and I still think it's too much of not enough gain in it for me to mess around with that. I think as long as I'm buying and holding and putting it away, this is for my personal self. I'm not advising anyone else how to do this. In my opinion, that I'm going to do very well with gold and silver, and that's what I've done. Well, that's really about it. If you're new to my videos, make sure you hit the like button. Oh, look, they took away the number of dislikes. Man, that sucks. I even want to know how many dislikes I got. What the frick are they doing out there? Anyways, all right. That's ridiculous. All right, let me close it up with saying that's ridiculous. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in Lauderdale by the Sea. I am a local dealer only, so I don't do any shipping. If you live outside my area here in South Florida, I advise you to find a good, local, handsome, smart dealer like myself to deal with. And if you are in my area, come by and visit me. Again, if you don't live in my area, I am all about buying locals. Keep it local, folks. It's really important to keep that money local rather than shipping it out. I advertise to beat SD Bullion, JM Bullion, and APMEX Bullion, the three big 800-pound gorillas out there. And I can beat them pretty easily because I can go, I can buy it for the same price or less than they can. I can also give you better advice and all that other good stuff. A local dealer should be able to do the same for you. If you don't have a local dealer and you're forced to buy online, those are the three companies I'd recommend if you have to buy. And again, don't buy the pricey stuff. Try to keep all your silver purchases at less than $4 per ounce premium. The less the better. $3 or less is even better in my opinion. And as far as gold goes, try to keep your purchases under $90 over the premium for the price of gold. Anything else is too much money in my opinion. Well, that's it. I'm going to call it quits here. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.